up, you guys? It's Dominique here, aka Simply a Vessel, I guess. And I'm here with my nephew, Linares.
Hello.
So today I kind of wanted to just talk about validation. Um, this is gonna be a part of the vlog. I don't know. We'll see. But I kind of wanted to talk about validation. My nephew actually didn't even know what it meant, so I explained it to him in the elevator. Right now we're in the hotel lobby area. So I kind of wanted to just talk about validation today. I'm gonna ask my nephew a few questions, and we're just gonna talk about it. So, validation, it obviously means acceptance. When you're accepted in any type of way, it can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. So I wanted to talk about it on both ends. So the good way is validation, when you're validated by God, when you're accepted by God, and then validation as far as being accepted by the world. There's so many there. It kind of goes along with like peer pressure as well, because sometimes you want to be a certain way, but everybody else is a certain way, so you just go along with the crowd. So Linares, have you ever been peer pressure to be a certain way, like at school, or if you had to dress a certain way? Like, just be honest. Like, have you ever
Yeah.
felt? Can you give an example?
Like, if somebody is like, if you were about to go study at school, but everybody's about to go to the park, and like they keep asking you, and then you just go play at the park instead of studying.
Did you? So was that your personal experience?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And it's just a lot of times like people don't have that boldness to be able to be separated, because the Bible calls us to be separated, a holy nation, a royal priesthood. He calls us to be holy, which is separate from the world. And I just noticed that, especially on TikTok, people just do stuff for attention. Like, I noticed that, like, they'll do the dumbest thing. It's the show that Linare's been watching. I don't watch cable. I watch like Netflix and all that. It's called Cricket.
Cricket Green.
Cricket Green, and I guess the guy, he kept hurting his friend for all those likes, and he was hurting his friend. He didn't realize it, but that's what it was giving him all those likes. And it's like, I've even been convicted of that, like looking at, oh, how many likes did I get on here, or how many followers do I have? You can easily get sucked into that, because if you don't have so many likes, if you don't have so many comments or whatever, subscribers, you feel like you're not accepted, or you feel like you're not cool enough, you're not this or that. So people, you have to realize that. And it was I think I brought this up in Bible class before. I seen a video, Keely sent it to us, and this young man, they kept peer pressuring him, and they was even calling him names and stuff, to actually swim across the pond. I don't know if you've seen that. They was peer pressuring him to swim across this pond, but they didn't know that in the middle it was like a dip. So they were calling him names, and this is actually real. And they were especially guys, because they have this type of ego. They feel like they need to prove something, right? And he did it, and he actually ended up drowning and dying. And they were super devastated, but they couldn't do anything about that, because his life is gone. So it's not even worth doing certain things. Like, I feel like we already know what happened with the girl with the Gorilla Glue with her hair, and this guy ended up doing it too. And I'm like, come on now. And he said, oh my gosh. But I think he knew he was gonna cut his hair anyway. But it's just that with validation, we feel like if we don't wear a certain thing, especially with women, I know a lot of like feminist things are going on, and they feel like, oh, if you dress modest, if you're the keeper of the home, or you're meek and quiet, that's putting a woman down. It's really not. That's what the Bible calls women to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. Is there any other examples you want to talk about as far as being accepted, or how do you think that people do things for attention these days? What do you think about validation?
And I do think people do such stuff for attention because they don't get enough attention at home and other things like that.
So you feel like some it can stem from like problems at home or not
Or at
getting
school.
them or at school. So I mean, it's not just it is frustrating when you see people do things for attention, but like Lanier said, it can stem from not getting enough attention from their parents at home or at school. You feel like I said, if you're not wearing certain things, if you're not in a certain group, you're lame, like you're an outcast. So it's just the most important thing is to be accepted by God. If you're accepted by God, then that's all that matters. Whether you have social media or not, God still sees you, and um, we have to understand that God loves us no matter how many likes we have, whether it's one like, no likes, or 1,000 likes. And we have to make sure that we remain humble because that can make us turn into kind of like a cocky person. Like if we have all these likes and all these subscribers, it makes us feel accepted or validated by somebody. And we have to understand that God accepts us and He loves us no matter how we look or who we are or our background. He loves us. This world just has such a high standard for how you need to be and who you need to be, but and they feel like if you're not the way of the world, then you're lame. If you're in God, you're in a box. You don't do anything. You're boring and all these certain things, but that's not true at all. Or do you have fun?
Yeah.
Are you saved?
Yeah.
Right. So give me an example of how it felt. I know you're still young. I'm still young too, but give me how it feels now being saved and how it felt being in the world. Like, how does it feel being accepted by God, and how did it feel when you were trying to be accepted by the world?
So when I was accepted by God, I felt like I could do more, and I feel like that I can go farther in life. Now that I know like what God stands for and what He does. But when I was in the world, I really didn't pay attention to that type of stuff. So I was really just always into games, never did my schoolwork, and yeah. So in the world, I would have turned into a bum, I'm pretty sure, because I didn't do anything besides play games and eat food and run around.
Hmm. And it's like, even though, how old are you?
13.
You forgot how old you are. And I'm 23. I'll be 24 this year. He just turned 13. We're young and we're saying these things. I love my nephew. He's getting so big, but he has wisdom and knowledge and understanding. And anybody out there that's 13 or younger, you can take from him and know that he doesn't care what the world says. Of course, have you have comments about your change or how you live?
Yep.
What have people said?
I don't like to go to church because it's boring. Church, it's not for me. I don't go to church. So,
What have they said towards you before about how the way you live?
not towards me.
Oh, so you've never had any comments like, "Oh, dude, you're boring," or
No.
this or that? I've had that experience, and that's good. Um, and I've had that experience where when I first got saved, a lot of people that I hung out with or I thought was my friends, they just kind of stopped talking to me, or they made it known that they really didn't like my change. Or because when you live in God, people act like that God does not have any standards, or He doesn't have anything that you have to live up to. If the world itself has laws and standards, what makes you think that God doesn't? Yes, God does love. He loves us, but He does not love sin. He does not accept just anything. And that's how people are these days. They feel like God has to accept any and everything. And no, and it's crazy because even with relationships, we have our standards. Like, oh, he has to be this or that, or they can't be this or that, or I have to be loved this way. But we treat God the opposite, and He's our very creator. Just because God is God, that does not mean he doesn't have feelings. That's where we get our feelings from. He made us in his likeness. And God is a jealous God, and his jealousy is not a jealousy that like our type of like a bad one. But he has a jealousy as if, you know, if you're putting this and that before me, or people or things before me, he feels hurt by that. And if we put the world before us, and if we want the world to accept us, and like the world, like the church has compromised so much with the world as far as secular music and the way that people, like, you don't even know the difference between some church people in the world. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Like, God has standards, and people just, like, they call people like us deep, like, oh, you're too deep and you're being too serious. But no, God doesn't just accept any and everything. Just like we wouldn't accept any and everything from our spouse or from our children. We desire a certain respect, or we have our certain standards that we have, and God does too. So I just wanted to kind of just talk about validation. We when I do my videos, I don't really have like a setup. I just ask God to, lead us and guide us. I don't really have like questions. I'll probably do that in the future, like have actual questions written down, and but I just kind of want to go with the flow. And I wanted to get my nephew's insight on how he feels about validation and being accepted by the world. But for us, we rather be accepted by God than by the world. Like the word says, what does it profit if a man gains the world and loses his soul? Your soul is priceless. And if you sell your soul to people or to the world because you want to get likes, or you want to feel accepted. And let's be honest, like I said, even with me being saved, I'm like, oh, how many likes did I get, or this or that? We can fall into that easily. So it's just so important for us to remain humble and to be accepted by God rather than the world. And that's just a way to live. The Bible actually says to live a peaceable, a quiet life. When Jesus was on this earth, even though he had power to do all things, he did not. He was humble. He didn't say, "Hey, I'm Jesus. Come worship me." Actually, a lot of times when he healed people, he didn't want them to go tell anybody. He came in on a donkey. He didn't come on a high horse. He didn't come with, royal clothes. He was a carpenter, and people looked at him that way, like, oh, isn't he just this or that? They expected him to look a certain way, to be a certain way. And there's nothing new under the sun. They did it back then, and they're doing it now. So it's just so important for our outlook to be different, to be changed. Don't look down on people. A lot of people look down on storefront churches or small churches, and they look at the mega churches and they think that's where it is. And I'm not like our apostle says, I'm not against mega churches, but not majority of them that are in the limelight, and that they're false prophets, and they're doing things for attention or for money, and that's just the truth. So that's pretty much the end of the video. I pranked my nephew this morning. I told him I was gonna get him. He thought I was playing. Like, it wasn't really that bad. Was it bad? It was just a little buffalo sauce.
I'm gonna get her back.
No, you're not. I'm gonna make sure I insert that video. Spoonful of
You was still have sleep.
You still love your teaching? Y'all, it was just a little bit, it's a little something. I should have got it right in his mouth, but he said he's gonna give me back, but whatever, I don't believe it. We're still getting used to. We're supposed to be looking at the camera right there. We're looking at ourselves, so don't mind us. But yeah, God bless. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, Do you have anything? Do you have anything that you want them to follow? Follow me on Instagram _ simply a vessel. I know you be having. What do you be playing? Roblox.
No,
Can you follow people on there?
you can friend me.
Yeah. What do you?
Roblox friend.
What's your thing? You know? Oh, you don't want to tell them?
Fortnite, Streaky Scar, and Roblox, Linares, level 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I didn't understand that. So I'll make sure I type it down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.